All right, folks, welcome back to the 2017 NASA Eastern States Championship from lovely, presented by Toyo Tires. I can't miss that. Coming from lovely Sebring, Florida. Unfortunately, we now have some weather, or fortunately, depending on how you roll.
Hey, I'm all about excitement, John. I'm going to say, fortunately, let's see some action out here. We got a slick surface. I don't think it's going to rain for too long, but it certainly has precipitated a little bit. As a matter of fact, Aldrin, if you wouldn't mind showing us our turn 7 camera, you can see, look at the pavement is steaming over there.
Yep, so we have a couple of storm cells coming in. We'll have a little bit of break, and then we're going to have quite a bit of weather coming in probably 30 to 40 minutes. So we have a 45-minute championship race here, so we may see some good old-fashioned Florida rain here coming in for this Group C race. This is Spec E30 and 944 Spec. Spec E30 will be doing a standing start on our front straight, and 944 Spec will have a flying start. I'm going to give you the grid for Spec E30. First position, then Scott McKay, then Carlos Mendez, Rob Eskew, and Brian Edmonds in the next row, then Mark Issa alongside Chris Allen, Olivia Belanger next to Sean Quinlan, then Jason Griskavage next to Christian Malone, Michael Kovac next to Daniel Goldberg, Philippe Pellerin alongside Forrest Vaughn, then Barry Zerbucken alongside Sandro Espinoza, Andrew Von Charbonneau, then Eric Pennington, Juan Lopez, Sumter Smith, Jason Green, Curtis Buxton, Dan Raver, Charlie Dirador. Interestingly, Charlie had a big shunt earlier this year, and he bought a car that used to be known as Cookie Puss, but no longer. Charlie has rechristened the car, and he is coming back strong. So good luck to Charlie starting in 24th position, then Walter Araya, David Wilsey, Jason Bellina, Oscar Edmonds, John Clark, Chris Cabetto, Raymond Zanato, Carter Hunt, and Arjun, he told us to pronounce his last name, Soundgarden.
John, Cookie Puss, is that a Tommy Carvel reference there? Ice cream shop? I believe it might be. Anyway, moving on to 944 Spec. Dan Pena is on the pole position. Next to him on the first row, Kyle Kimball. Second row, Robert Keller and Tim Pruitt. Next up, we got John Perkins and Paul Davison, followed by Shannon McHugh, Steve Brewster. In the next row, Jeremy Pullman, Jason Stanley, followed by Michael Cooper, Alan Evans, and in the final row, John Torgerson and Shane Denny.
Pace car through turn 16 right now, so we are going to watch for our Spec E30 field to come through. And we are hearing from control now, actually, that we're going to do 2 pace laps, probably to dry the surface out a little bit. So 2 pace laps, they're going to come through. Again, you'll see them on the turn 17 camera for a minute. That'll be Spec E30. Trying to get these cars run almost identical lap times, so we are trying to get as much separation that we can show.
That's right. With how closely matched they are in lap time, John, we do need a nice big gap to have that standing start before the 944s make it up to the back of those guys. We've already seen when a yellow flag incident occurs during this group, when those guys get together, it becomes a very interesting race as the 944s start to move their way through the Spec E30 pack, as their absolute fastest time is just marginally faster than that of the E30s.
So the Spec E30s now completing their reconnaissance lap. They are going to come on around, and that will be their warm-up lap. So this is when they start warming tires and brakes up. 944 Spec will be next through.
You know, John, last night we had the
17 right now.
You know, folks out there, we had the courtesy from Toyo Tires of opening up the skid pad last night with
that was fun.
with the wetted down out there, and a lot of us, actually including your 2 announcers up here, got to go and slide around just a little bit. And you know, if it's going to rain today, that might have been a beneficial little test for some of those guys out there, just to feel how their car is in the slick. We had our chance to whip it around out there in the skid pad just a little bit with the sprinkler on, and that was fun for some of us, and you know, could have been a learning experience for others.
Well, with that rain coming in, it looks like we do have a cell off to the northeast that is moving across right now. Our weather radar is showing a much bigger cell stacking up behind it, so it's probably going to be slippy out there. Of course, you don't know what you're going to get out there, and you don't want to go to a rain setup when you're not sure it's going to rain, but if you're on a full dry setup, you're going to be sliding all over the place and not fast, so that's going to be an interesting game of strategy for our Spec E30 and 944 Spec racers.
It certainly is, and also just geographically how much area this track covers, it's very likely to have different conditions on different sides of the track. In fact, when the rain came in, the first report we got was from turn 1, so that sector of the track got wetted down. Not even really sure, it was a very brief rain shower, so it might actually be dry in other parts of the course, but like John just said, the setup is critical, and having an adaptable setup is what you want, kind of somewhere in the middle, because there's really not much way to change it once you're out there.
Well, we're up here in our luxury booth, and we have added prophylactic devices to our cameras to keep them dry. So we'll be bringing you the action all the way through. Today's potentially torrential rain race also could be just humid and moist. We don't know. We're going to bring you Group C, Spec E30 and 944 Spec. Field working its way around right now. Looks like E30 has cleared turn 10. Second wave, 944 Spec just behind.
And you can see the pace car starting to try to spread the gap out between those two groups. As we mentioned before, it is going to require a fairly large gap because the Spec E30s are going to come to a full stop on the front straight before they're given the green flag. The 944s are expected to do a flying start. So this is all part of the crucial timing that our control people have to deal with on a daily basis, and they do a fantastic job of it.
Indeed, they do. High praise for our in-house NASA staff, control, and race directors. And huge praise for the local Sebring staff. They have been amazing all weekend. Last race, of course, we did have some drama with a major car fire. Driver was okay, but the Sebring crew cleared that in what has to be record time for a major incident. Hopefully none of that this race.
Yeah, really, John, the
Knock on
response
the wood.
time.
Hold on. There we are.
You know, the response time really has been remarkable out here. We've had to move a few walls. We've had, as you put on Friday, John, the walls out here have been a bit hungry. And, you know, the crew out here is amazing at dealing with it. It looks like we've got our Spec E30s. Do we have our Spec E30s coming up to a stop here?
No, they're coming through 17. You'll see them on your monitor in about 20 or 30 seconds or so. Spec E30 will be joining us here on the front straight in just a minute for their standing start. There you see them through 17 on your monitors. They are under the control of the starter right now. He's going to hold up a rolled green flag, unfurl that green flag, then we'll wave it once he is ready to go. So you're going to see him come. There's our wall cam right there. That's an exciting view right there for you. Wall cam doing double duty as interview cam. Okay, so the starter has raised the flag up. It's displayed. Boom, they're gone. McKay with the hole shot. Good Lord. Boy, he got away. That was amazing. He probably had a .01 or so reaction time. Cut that one just right. Coming down the front straight. Let's watch him go into the first corner there. Spec E30 is away. There they go. Looking pretty clean so far. Let's see turn 1. Nobody get agricultural here.
Look at that, 3 wide. Oh,
Five
wide through turn 1.
Wide.
That is just about as many BMWs as you can fit side to side as you go through there.
Hoo-wee.
Wow.
Tell you what.
We can see our 944s going through turn 17 now, so if we look to our front straight camera, we can see.
Let's look at our wall cam there for the start of 944 Spec, and they're away.
There we go.
Here they go, coming at you. Some going wide, almost on the wall there. Wow. Wow, wow, wee woo. Let's look. Front straight camera looks like about 5 or 6 wide. Maximizing entry there into turn 1. Let's watch turn 1. 944 Spec. Right there.
Very nice and clean through turn 1 there. The 944s appear to have all made it. Now, the Spec E30s, oh, is that a... No smoke, just a little off to the side there, looking through. Oh, and that was McKay at the back of the pack. McKay. Okay, well, we're looking to turn 7 now. We are going to see our 944s come through here next. We will revisit the Spec E30 race as soon as we can here, but it has been a big shakeup. Looked like a bit of contact out there. Looking at turn 7 now.
Scott McKay went
Here comes the 944s. Is that Pena out front?
Yeah, McKay went from first to worst, so that's a big loss for him. Looks like that was Dan Pena out front, and Ugly Betty, of course. I believe that was Keller right behind him on our turn 7 camera right now. Yeah, we got a hurt car in turn 10 coming around.
That's McKay. He is going slow. I imagine he's going to be pitting this time around. Let's look at turn 17. We'll see those Spec E30s come through.
Golly,
but you can see, John, the first couple of Spec E30s have a little bit of damage. It looked like our second place car had some fender hanging there, a bumper possibly. So, I mean, there was definitely some kind of hubbub.
Well, across the line, it was Espinoza in front of McKay, and then Mendez, Askew, and Edmonds our first time by. But that, of course, I believe was their pace lap, so something was going on there. So we'll have to wait for them to come across the line. But Scott McKay now went from the front of the pack to the end of the pack, and it looks like he's driving slow, so something got messed up on that car. Although it wouldn't be unlike Scott to just keep working and try to get back up to the front. Starting to hear a little bit of noise. Here they comes. Turn 17 out in front. I think that's SQ that is out in front of the E30 pack. Can watch him come down through the wall cam there. I think something's a little weird because it's showing Sandro Espinosa out front, but I don't think he's running. I'm going to call it Askew, Mendez, Edmonds. Oh, there it goes. It refreshed.
Yeah, there we go.
So it looks like Sandro Espinosa has dropped way back to P8. But that still is up 14 positions for him off the start, so it's not really dropping back.
Massive changes in E30,
Daniel
John.
Goldberg up 22 positions from the start, so there was some kind of mix-up there.
Oh, major mix-up. We've got some kind. Look, Chris Cabetto, Oscar Edmonds, these guys 20 positions down from their start. Yep. So it's not just McKay, it's quite a few of them, as a matter of fact.
944 Spec across the line, Pena in front, followed by Keller, Kimball, Perkins, Pruitt, Davison, Stanley, Cooper, Pullman, McHugh, Evans, Brewster, Denny, John Torgerson, and Brian Evans.
Now looking at turn 1, we see some dust there. No car sitting, though. No flag. Looks like we're clean.
All right, let's watch turn 10 and see what happens there when the E30s come through. Again, big shakeup on the first lap in Spec E30. Scott McKay looks to be out now. That's SQ right in front. I believe that is Mendez just behind him in that blue and white car. So E30 getting with it on the first lap. Wow.
You know, John, if I'm not mistaken, I think I might have just seen Espinosa's car out there. That is the wildly multicolored car, right?
Super multi.
Well, let's see what the next time they come through the lights. Now, it has been he has been appended to the front of the grid again on racehero.io, but I do agree that is incorrect.
Yeah.
It looks to me as though he's running somewhere mid-pack, but the system is showing him clocking laps. It's a bit odd there.
A little bit of a technical malfunction, but we can call it from the booth. Using our own two eyes. There's a 944 field through turn 10. Pena in front.
Yeah, the top three real tight in that 944 spec group. These guys have been known to run a very tight race, and Dan Pena, a great driver, but Robert Keller has been giving him a lot of runs for his money throughout the weekend. So we'll see if Keller can hold on to it, see if he might be able to overtake Dan Pena. I almost called him Drift Patrol Dan.
I mean, it's close.
Old habits die hard.
All right, we're hearing noise here in the tower. Look at turn 17. There they are again. SQ out in front with Mendez in hot pursuit. All right, kids, here we go. That is SQ, Mendez. Then we've got, I believe, Brian Edmonds in the next position. Issa Belanger. Jason Griscavage. Then it was showing Sandro Espinosa coming into that.
Yeah, that is odd. I was looking at the front straight this time by. Sandro Espinosa, by my physical count, is in 7th place right now. But yeah, we are definitely having a weird bit of a glitch here on the computer.
Right. So Espinosa's transponder may have failed, and they're probably having to hand time him. So that may be what had happened with Sandro Espinosa. They are showing him picking up laps. He seems to be a lap ahead of the rest of the group. So something screwy is happening with our timing feed, but we have 944 Spec. They're across the line now. Pena still out front. But he has Robert Keller and Kyle Kimball back there to contend with. Kimball did win yesterday's qualifying race.
Well, it's such a tight battle in Spec E30 as they go into turn 7. You can see all over the grid. I was going to say the top 10, but look at this. Here's the
everywhere.
Everywhere. We've got major battles going on.
And again, that's another NASA Spec formula, and a beautiful thing about Spec racing, you can have a great battle for 23rd. But it is real fun to be out front. Not that I would know.
Looks like McKay has moved up 2 positions from the back. So he is making progress there, although, his car appeared to be disabled at first, so he was way off the pace. We'll have to see if he can bring it up now. Oh, turn 10, we've got a car off. Rejoining the course, though, hopefully uneventfully there. It was as he was leaving our camera's view.
So we are hearing reports that McKay probably had a little bit of an impact with the wall in turn 1. Here he is through turn 10. Car doesn't look too screwy in terms of handling, but there is damage on the front end of that number 3. So he's going to try to do work. He's not going to give up. That's not how Scott McKay rolls. All right, turn 10. There's your 944 spec leaders. Pretty good. Whole little agricultural work.
Hey, that's cutting.
Hey, no cuts. I think that might have been either Perkins or Stanley coming through. Getting a little 6'4 Impala style jumpy jump there. No three-wheel motion, though.
And, of course, that is part of the asphalt portion of the course that is different from the pavement compound we have on the front and back straights, which, of course, are original post-World War II airstrips. All concrete.
Indeed. Spec E30s through turn 17. A lot of interesting lines through there. Wow. Let's watch them come down the front straight, and we'll try to call it for you again as they come across the line. SQ still out in front, then Mendez. Looks like Edmonds, Issa, Griskovaj, Sandro Espinoza, then Goldberg, Kovac, Christian Malone. On Charbonneau moving up 14 positions. Jason Green up 15 positions. And Curtis Buxton, Forrest Vaughn, Ray Zanotto, Sumter Smith, John Clark, Chris Cabetto, Carter Hunt, Charlie Dirador, Dan Raver, Philippe Pellerin, Oscar Edmonds, Juan Lopez. I think those guys actually haven't come across yet, so I'm a little premature. Nope, Scott McKay is across. Boy, but the 944s are now getting into the back of the Spec E30 field.
Let's look into turn 7. There's a battle. Looks like 3 wide going down the straightaway in between 6 and 7. Let's watch them come in.
That's 2, 3, and 4.
That
and
is.
2, 3, 4, and 5 in Spec E30. Looks like a train was running down the inside there.
It looked like somebody followed that third place car up into the second place.
I think Edmonds might have gotten the wrong end of that one because it looked like Mendez had someone following him through, and then there were 2 cars on the outside trying that line. Let's look to 10 and see what's going on if there's a shakeup there.
Here they come.
Yep, there's SQ out in front. Then we can see Mendez pretty clearly. All right, I think Edmonds actually has fallen back quite a bit, if I'm not wrong, on the call there. So we'll see how they are when they come across the stripe next time. Let's watch for our 44s now. Let's see where they're at. I think they're just through 7 right now. So watch for the 944 spec leaders to start coming into the back of the Spec E30 field. Yep, there's McKay going by. Front end is obviously hurt on that car. Big damage on the left front.
Yeah, and McKay had moved up.
There's your 944 spec leaders. You can see Pena still out front. Keller just behind. Another E30. And then back to Kyle Kimball. He's in that red 944. So the first multicolored 944 is Pena. Then the green one is Keller. The red one is Kimball. So that's how to sort them out on your screen. I'm hearing calls over the control frequency. There's a bumper in one place, a headlight in another place. So
they're just shedding parts all over the place.
They're getting down to race weight.
Hopefully they don't shed too much weight while they're out there. That could be a problem in the tech shed on the way out of the race.
Leaders on the front straight right now. We'll call them across for you again. SQ getting a little bit of breathing room, but the next cars are all right together. Let's watch them as they come into turn 1. Check it out, folks. They're going to be 2 or 3 wide coming into turn 1. There's SQ way out in front. There's Mendez. Look at the next 4. Look at the next 6.
Yeah, they are all really tight,
right
John,
together.
and a bunch of different changes got made on that lap. Olivier Bellinger made his way up into third place, 12 positions up from his starting spot.
So we were right. Edmonds got a little bit...
He sure did. Also, Espinosa now seems to be clocking in his appropriate position. I think what the timing did is maybe just remove that one lap he had there. 16 positions up, currently running 6th place, and also our fastest car in Spec E30 currently with a 2:39.390. So Sandro Espinosa on a tear, making his way to the front of the pack.
Indeed, indeed. We are seeing something strange happening with the timing there. Showing a whole bunch of cars off in 944 specs. So I think Race Hero's got a case of the heebie-jeebies or something going on, but we'll work it out. No, it's coming back to normal now.
Must be the weather, John.
Must be the weather. Can't stand the weather. A little Stevie Ray Vaughan for you. Thank you very much. All right, turn 10. We're going to watch our E30 leaders coming through there pretty quick. Whoa, where'd SQ go? Is he that far out in front? There's Mendez. No, SQ got... Oh, I think he's a little further back. Something happened.
Boy, this is
Mendez is out in front. Wow.
Oh, this is like a game of King of the Hill, John. It seems like whoever's out front, just they pick him off.
Bam, knock him out.
That's why you wait in second place until the very last lap, like we saw in the Spec Miata race.
Let's watch 10 and see where the 944 leaders are. They should be working their way through that pack. Oh, someone's off. There was an
it looked like
E30
somebody
way
just
off.
went straight off there. Although I believe that...
no, he's right
there
back
he is.
on.
There he is. You know, Sebring has a lot of really good access roads, and so when cars have issues, they can leave the track very safely pretty quick.
944 leaders through turn 10 right now. It looks like there's a little bit of damage on Kyle Kimball's car. One of those really super cool pop-up headlights has popped up. So Kimball may have smacked somebody a little bit of the old argy-bargy. But Pena was still out in front with Keller, and then there was quite a bit of a gap in another E30 between Kimball and Pena and Keller.
Well, you know, it looked as though one of those backmarker E30s might have been giving those 944s a bit of a problem as they were going through there. Maybe Kimball just gave him a bit of a suggestion to move over.
Indeed. The old chrome horn, one of my favorites. Get out the way. All right, folks, right now we are 20 minutes into our scheduled 45-minute championship race. There to go. There's our leaders. Carlos Mendez is way out in front. Ooh, Ascue's falling. Fell way
Where
down.
is
He's down
Ascue?
to ninth. Ninth, I tell you.
Well, he's falling every time they come through now, so...
No, but you know what happened? We saw him. Something happened in between 7 and 10. And he got way off. So he must have had a little
And
bit
look,
of an off.
Askew continuing to fall down the ranks now. 16th. Where is Rob Askew? Oh, there he is. 16th place. Oh,
Whoosh.
boy. That is going to be a lot to keep up. Now, it also is showing him in the pit lane. So Rob Askew maybe exited the track for a quick repair.
Blowed up.
Or possibly going back paddock.
Or something done blowed up. All right, 44 is across now. Pena still out in front of Keller. Then Kimball, Stanley, Cooper, Perkins, Pruitt, Jeremy Pullman. Actually, Pruitt is in front of John Perkins, Tim Pruitt.
And we really have some major, major hard chargers in our E30 group right now. Barry Zerbucken up to 10th place, 22 places up.
I got one
from
better.
his starting
Daniel
place.
Goldberg in P6 is up
Right.
25 freaking positions.
I mean, this is just mind-blowing, folks. We usually don't see this many pass moves in an event. Sandro Espinoza up 17. Andrew Von Charbonneau up 14. I mean, the list goes on. There's a lot of guys who have taken over over 10 positions out here. Seeing a yellow flag from the starter stand means we have something going on in turn 1.
All right, sounds like we had let's see, that was 2 cars that got together but continued.
Yep, seeing a red 944 continue there. John, do you have a car number on that?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I heard 1-6. Okay, it was Jeremy Pullman. Got together with whoever car 1-6 is. Yeah, we may have had a little bit of a missed call. We do our best with interpreting what's coming over the control frequency, but sounds like Jeremy Pullman got together possibly with Shannon McHugh. That could have been 1-1-6 instead of 1-6.
Right.
So they got together and had a little smackage. But
They had a little
back.
picnic out in the
They're
grass
still
together
going.
there.
They had a little tea and finger sandwiches, but now they're back underway. All right, we're hearing calls of debris and all kinds of crazy stuff happening. So, little bit of an eventful race. Here come your E30 leaders. Mendez out in front, but a challenge.
Looked like he was being challenged from the inside there.
Espinoza.
It did appear to be, but it would be a major improvement for Sandro. That would be up 4 positions from his last lap by.
No,
Let's see.
Sandro's P5. So that was actually Mark Issa that was taking
Issa.
a look inside on turn 17. Let's look at turn 1 when these guys come through. They're all right together. Unbelievable. There is Mendez out in front. Issa is just behind. So that top pack of 7 is putting a little bit of daylight between themselves and the rest of the field.
You know, it's almost like we've reversed the grid here, John. These guys are just fighting tooth and nail. Everybody in the top 5 did not start there. They're all up numerous positions. Mendez up 9, Issa up 11, Bellinger up 12. The list goes on.
Let's go to turn 1. We're going to watch our 944 spec leader coming through there. That's Dan Pena. Robert Keller taking a little bit of a look outside down the front straight. We'll see how they come through turn 1 together. Pena using every angstrom of track.
But Keller not giving him an inch there.
And Kyle Kimball's catching right up with a little bit of that damage on the right front headlight. Of course, a headlight would be in the front of the car. Department of Redundancy Department once again. All right, leaders to Spec E30 into turn 7 there. Oh, no, I don't think that's... I can see SQ, so that may be a little farther back in the pack. Let's look at turn 10. There's your E30 leaders. Mendez out in front at turn 10. Issa just behind. And I believe that is in the 3rd position. That looked like Edmonds had gotten in front of Belanger. So we're not sure on that one.
Well, John, it does look as though we've lost Rob Askew. He is a lap down now in the pit lane. It looks like on the same lap we also lost Juan Lopez down 5 positions into 31st. Okay. So, yeah, a little bit of attrition here, but so far a relatively clean race. We've got some body parts all over the place out there, but they are still going strong.
Car body parts, Jeff.
Yes, thank you for the clarification there, John.
Right.
Absolutely, John. Scott McKay, though, working his way back up the field. He is up to 19th place now, which is that is certainly not nothing after being knocked all the way back to 32nd. So we could still see something from Scott McKay. We are 25 minutes into this session now, scheduled at 45 minutes, so we still do have quite a few laps of racing left to go.
Scott McKay's Kung Fu is very strong, and he is going to try to bring it after having sent it off at turn 1, so we'll see if he can make his way back up through the pack. Snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, like the old wide world of sports, right? We do see a safety vehicle on course now at turn 7, so we do have an incident working.
There's our Spec E30 leaders going through turn 1. Still all over each other there. Mounting a breakaway from the rest of the pack, though.
Yeah, it looks like we may have a slow-moving car back there on the backside that is just looking for somewhere to pull off, and they're covering it with a Spec. Looks like one of our 944. Oh, it's 5.7 multicolored. That's pulled over. That may be Sandro Espinosa.
He is 3-2.
3-2. Okay, 5.7 multicolored was the call.
Sandro Espinosa, speaking of, still running the fastest lap out here so far in the Spec E30 group with a 2:39.390. Okay, see if he can't continue to move his way on up. He's in 4th place now.
That may have been one of our 944s. That may be Alan Evans that had a mechanical failure. We keep an eye on that one for you.
And look at this into turn 7.
Yep, there's
Spec E30's 4 wide.
Woo! I think that's a little farther. No, is that?
Yeah, that's not our leaders. That was Ray Zanotto at the very back of that 4-car pack.
Right, the leaders are just through 10 right now. But wow, great racing all through the field in Spec E30.
Yeah, that was Von Charbonneau, Jason Green, Ray Zanotto, and Curtis Brixton going through there. All of those guys are just tenths away from each other the last time through the light. And speaking of which, John, the top 6 in Spec E30 are really, really close together. A total of 3.8 seconds spanning that entire group. So we're talking tenths in between each one. A second from Espinosa to Goldberg and another second to Griskovage. Past that, we've got a 6-second gap back to the next group. But there are tight races going on all over this field.
And you saw a big gaggle of Spec E30s all right together through turn 10 there as they came through. But the 944s are starting to work up deeper in the field. And I'm starting to see Jason Stanley all over Kyle Kimball. Kimball in that red 944 with the headlight kind of up on the right-hand side.
It did look like he was ready to make a move on Kimball there, didn't he?
Yeah, and then Stanley in kind of the yellow, bright old, neon sunglass 1988 style. That's a good thought here. Both of these cars were pretty much the car to have when I was in high school, watching 16 Candles and thinking all that was cool. An E30 or a 944 would make you a pretty cool dude or dudette. Leaders across the line right now in Spec E30. Now these cars are living their second life as flat-out racing machines. A big pass down the inside. That was Issa making the pass on Mendez. Can he make it stick? Oh, and Mendez said, no way. Trying to come back around the inside. That was a brave move. Issa carried a ton of speed through turn 1. I mean a ton. So we'll watch for them to come into turn 7. They're working around through turn 3 under the Corvette bridge right now. This is still out in front. Watch for him to come down through the turn 7 camera. I think Edmonds is going to try something on the inside of Mendez. Let's watch that turn 7 call right there. That's Edmonds, the blue car behind the white car. He started to take a look on the inside of Mendez, but not so much. All right, 44 leaders are through. We'll give you the top running order there. Top 5, Dan Pena, then Kyle Kimball, Jason Stanley, Michael Cooper, Tim Pruitt, and John Perkins. That's your top 6 in 944 spec. Spec E30, your top 10 are Mendez, Issa, Brian Edmonds, and Sandro Espinoza. Daniel Goldberg, Jason Griskovac, Michael Kovac, then Christian Malone, Chris Cabetto, Barry Zerbecken. That's your top 10 in Spec E30. Fast time in Spec E30 belongs to Sandro Espinosa with a 239.390 so far. About 30 minutes down in our scheduled 45-minute contest. So we're well over halfway.
John, gasp.
Gasp.
I just looked at the track and I noticed that there was a red 944, which I believe to be Dan Pena, leading a bunch of Spec E30s in. Look at the scores right now. We have lost Mr. Robert Keller.
Oh, no. Bummer.
Robert Keller currently running back in 6th place, but I'm not sure how accurate that is. He very well might be out. It's showing him as a lap down now, but oh boy, tough break for Robert Keller. Really a hard charger so far this weekend, but has caught a few tough breaks.
Oh,
Dan
man.
Pena still leading the way out there. Yeah, and I believe that was the last 944, John Torgerson, to pass through the lights there. See if we see another one. Kind of an unmistakable 944 that he has out there.
Hey, Mendez got back in front of Issa right there. We just saw them come across the line. Let's watch. Front straight cam. Mendez has that white car. Issa the silver car just behind. Then that's Edmonds and Sandro Espinoza, who says his name is pronounced Chupacabra. Strangest pronunciation I've ever heard for Espinoza.
You know, our drivers just have no sense of humor when it comes to filling out the info forms.
Oh, yeah, right. All right, let's watch turn 7, kids. We will see where our Spec E30 leaders are going to hit some 944 spec lap traffic, I believe. So that's going to be all kinds of interesting watch. Looks like Issa is challenging Mendez. They'll come into our camera shot in just a minute. There it is. Issa's trying the outside. Maybe he's going to try the old in-the outie. There he did. Yep, he took a late apex and then went to a earlier apex on the exit of 7. So we'll see how that worked out for him when they come by turn 10. Again, it's kind of a little bit of a, I don't know if it's a chess game or a poker game where you're trying to get someone to bluff. I think you got a couple of kings when you're really sitting on a 2 and a 6. With different suits, of course. All right, there they are. Mendez in front, but Issa taking a look around the inside of 10. Oh, man. And Edmonds and Espinoza are right there, too.
Oh, Espinoza looked like he was just poised there, just waiting to attack. You know, Espinoza was one of the guys that we saw out there on the skid pad last night.
Yep.
Now, of course, it seems as though the track has dried up, but we do, looking at the radar, have a couple more cells headed our way.
I think we're good for this race, though.
We just might be.
But Espinoza was toyed like a toy gun. He was right there ready to pounce. So we'll wait for our E30s to come around. We'll see how it goes by this time around the stripe. But boy, oh boy, a lot of excitement here. A lot of interesting developments in both Spec E30 and 944 Spec. Two great classes. Can't really beat the camaraderie in either of them. Whoa, there was Kyle Kimball on our turn 10 cam. He got a little bit loose. You can see a lot of E30s and 944s mixed in there. So we're going to watch for our field to come around again and see if we get another shuffle of the deck in Spec E30.
Well, something interesting I noticed in Spec E30 right now, John, Ray Zanotto up to 15th place, and Scott McKay up to 16th. Looked like he was right behind him, so we'll have to see if either of those guys can continue on their progression up the field. They both started pretty far. Well, Zanotto started all the way at the back. Of course, McKay started all the way at the front.
E30 leaders across the stripe right now. They are going to catch a 944 lap traffic car. Front straight cam, you can see the 944 coming through. Now turn 1. Watch for a red 944, and then our gang of 4 They are coming into there like gangbusters. Interesting lines. Looks like that was Edmonds making a pass on Issa right there through the turn 1 cam. Let's watch them when they come into turn 7, see if they shuffle the deck anymore. Scramble up the Yahtzee right here. Looks like they are going to get past lap traffic. Watch for them coming along into the turn 7 camera. A little bit of excitement. Let's see who's behind Carlos Mendez. It is still Mark Issa. Looks like he's taking... Oh, no, that's Edmonds. Just took a look inside Mendez. I think he got him. Way to go, Brian Edmonds. Strong sauce.
Wow, talk about excitement. So many lead changes in this event so far. This is a fantastic race, John.
There was a yellow there. So he passed him right into the yellow. Did he get it done before the yellow? That might be a consultation with the stewards.
That's a good question.
I want no part of that. Glad I'm in the booth here and not up in the race director suite. There it is, Mendez, then Edmonds. Edmonds may have given it back. Then looks like Issa and Espinoza with Daniel Goldberg right behind. Interestingly, Brian Goldberg's brother, who was in our Super Touring race.
And look at this, John. Ray Zanotto still in 15th, but Scott McKay passed him and Charbonneau into 13th place. Also, one of our major hard chargers. In fact, I think he might have been the hardest charger. Barry Zerbuckin has lost a bunch of positions down to 17th place. That puts him still 15 positions up from his starting place. But, John, he was well over 20 before. Something big happened out there.
Indeed, indeed.
Dan Pena in 944 really running a pretty comfortable lead now. He's got 3.5 seconds back to Kyle Kimball, and Kyle Kimball is running a bit of a slower lap than Dan Pena.
Yep.
So if Dan can just hold it together, we don't have too much longer left in this race. It looks like about 35 minutes elapsed, so no more than 10 minutes certainly. And Dan Pena, if he can just hold it together, maybe looking at another 944 Spec Championship.
We did see our 44 leaders coming through turn 10 there, and it looked like Pena had some good E30 lap traffic to use as a pick between himself and Kyle Kimball. And Jason Stanley was right there too, but definitely Robert Keller has fallen off, so it looks like some misfortune has visited his house. There we go.
So it looked like if Edmonds had gotten Mendez, he did take it back because Mendez is currently in the lead. Let's watch him into turn 1.
Into turn 1. There we go. Mendez is right there.
And Mendez,
Edmonds just behind.
You could see the defense in that line there, John. He was definitely trying to do everything he could to keep Edmonds behind him. Edmonds and Issa both up 10 positions from their original spot. Look at this, John. Into 4th place, Daniel Goldberg, 27 positions.
Forget about it.
That is almost the whole field.
All right, we are hearing the control frequency starting to track the leader around the course. So that's going to tell us something. Watch coming into turn 7. I think we're going to have some excitement here.
Well, that looks like Edmonds may be taking a look.
Edmonds trying an outside pass on Mendez. No yellow flag this time, so the gloves are off. Mano a mano.
Look at that,
right
side by side.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. Goldberg just got by Espinoza coming into 7. Let's watch 10 to see if it sticks. They must have their spotters or their alarm clocks on, and they know they are in the final minutes of this championship contest, which will win them a title as an Eastern States Championship.
Boy, John, I know that McKay has got the Intimidator livery on there, but I think Goldberg might be, that's a Dale move right there from the back to the front. That is, whew.
Maybe not Intimidator, maybe Terminator. All right, we are tracking E30 leaders Carlos Mendez around the course, so that says we are going to go white flag next time he passes the stripe, coming through probably turn 14 here in a minute. Not a minute, but less than a minute. You'll see them pretty quick here on your turn 17 camera. Out front, well, maybe out front unless something else happens, is going to be Carlos Mendez.
At this point, John, it's anybody's guess. We have had so many shakeups in this race.
Forget about it.
My goodness. And look at this. There is, I'm assuming Mendez all alone.
No, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so.
Okay. Calm down. Calm down.
No, Jeff, I got the other radio in my ear. If I would have heard something where it took out everybody, I would have let you know.
Well, I know you like to keep me in suspense, John.
Oh, yeah, you know. All right, folks,
That
turn
looks more
17
like it.
camera. There they are. Mendez out in front. Time for Brian Edmonds to get it on. Let's see what they do here. Ooh, and a little bit of a gap back to Goldberg is in third position with Espinoza and Issa just behind.
It looked like Issa was going to make a move on Espinoza on the straight.
Watch the front
through
straight.
turn
Watch
one.
the turn one camera, kids. Here they come. There is Carlos Mendez with Brian Edmonds just behind. Daniel Goldberg catching up. Oh, Sandro Espinosa's off in turn one, but he recovered. Whoa.
Espinoza really has a lot to lose here, being up 18 positions. He certainly doesn't want to throw it away here on the very last lap.
Well, I think he wants to get on the podium or he wants to get the win. So I don't know if it's throwing it away. All right, kids, watch the turn 7 camera. Just had Dan Pena cross the start-finish line.
Let's look into turn
Look at
7.
seven.
Looks like Edmonds might
There
be
they go.
challenging
Edmonds
Mendez
trying
again.
an outside move right there on Mendez. Mendez says, no thank you,
Oh,
sir.
I think Mendez faked him out a little bit there. I saw a
he did.
hesitation. That might have been game over there for Edmonds.
Let's watch turn 10. Here they come.
We still do have 10 more turns left to go in this lap, ladies and gentlemen. What an exciting finish to this race. This is the final lap.
Wow, wow, wee woo. Wow. Exciting racing. Turn 10. Keep an eye on it. There they are. Mendez and Edmonds. Oh, and Goldberg's right there. Either one of
Sure
those
is.
guys slip up a little bit. Espinoza with Drifto. Wow. I think he's used up all that poor car has to offer. But Sandro is not going to give up because he is the Chupacabra. All right, folks. So Dan Pena had a pretty comfortable lead. We'll watch for him to come around. Maybe look for him in our turn 10 camera. That'll be that multicolored.
Yeah, Stanley has been able to cut
9:44.
his lead down to 2.5 seconds, but that still is fairly comfortable out there for Pena.
Yep.
Watched him go through turn 1, and he really didn't have any other 944s within sight.
Very true. I think I can see Dan Pena right now on our... No, I don't think that was Dan. And Dan's car... Okay, it must have been Dan because I can see Kyle Kimball with that headlight pinking up. Whoa, we have a surface flag. I think we had a car that was laying down some oil. I can see cars getting real loose through turn 10. So let's take a look at turn 10 and see if people are getting loose through there. No, not so much, but I'm hearing there may be something happening in between 10.
I think we've got our leaders through turn 17. Now this is going to be it. Let's look to the front straight. Checkered flag is out.
There they are. Goldberg got second. Goldberg
Woo!
got second. Right at the end, he got by Brian Edmonds.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, Carlos Mendez, your Spec
Whoa.
E30 NASA Eastern States champion for 2017. This event, of course, presented by Toyo Tires out here at lovely Sebring Raceway.
Let's wait for our 944s to come across right now. Watching for Dan Pena to come across the line. This will be another championship for Dan to put into his pocket. And a trophy for his faithful steed, Ugly Betty.
Cabetto up into 7th place on this Spec E30.
Hey, Dan Pena, he just won it.
All right, Dan.
Man, but Jason Stanley was right there. Congratulations to Dan. That is so cool. I know he had put in a lot of work along with Pine Tree Motorsports to get that car put together. When he first got here, he had a bunch of challenges. He told me that he had a strut pop out and all kinds of unhilarious things happen to him. But man, Dan made it work. And that's what makes a champion here, not giving up.
Yeah, and a great run for Jason Stanley as well. You know, chopping that gap down from 3.5 seconds to 1.9 the final time across the line. So Stanley, really a great job from him. 8 positions up from his starting place. Boy, John, what a race that was. Excellent battling out there from everybody. Woo! We'll go over the Spec E30 grid for you now. The finishing order here, of course, this is unofficial until we get through tech and everything else, but across the line, it looks like Carlos Mendez in first, followed by Daniel Goldberg, and rounding out the podium, Brian Edmonds. In 4th place, Sandro Espinoza, followed by Jason Griscovage, Michael Kovac in 6th place, Chris Cabetto moving up several positions in
Way
the
to
end,
go.
up to 7th place. Way to go, man. Christian Malone with 8th place, Curtis Buxton in 9th place. Scott McKay, look at that,
That's a
all
nice
the way back
recovery.
up
Back
to
to the
10th
top
place.
10. Wow.
Whew. That is certainly a huge
Never
effort from
give up.
Scott McKay.
Scott McKay gets a Chuck Norris Award.
He absolutely does. Jason Green up 16 positions into 11th for his final spot. John Clark in 12th. 13th place goes to Ray Zanotto. Andrew Von Charbonneau in 14th. Barry Zerbucken in 15th. Oscar Edmonds 16th. Dan Raver next, followed by Carter Hunt, Charlie Dirador, Felipe Pellerin, Sumter Smith, David Wisely. And look at this, John. It looks like as though we lost Mark Issa right at the very end of that.
You know what? I didn't see him.
Neither did I.
Because
Yeah,
Goldberg was right there. Something happened to Issa.
Boy, so 23rd position finish for Mark Issa. What a disappointing end to his race. 24th is Forrest Vaughn. 25th, Jason Bellina, followed by Eric Pennington, Sean Quinlan, Walter Araya, Oliver Bellinger, Rob Eskew in 30th place, Juan Lopez 31st, and Chris Allen rounding out your Spec E30 in 32nd place. What a race that was. John, will you run down the 944 Spec for us, please?
With great pleasure. 944 Spec, it was Dan Pena achieving another championship in his faithful steed, Ugly Betty. Then Jason Stanley, Kyle Kimball with a great effort too. Michael Cooper, then Tim Pruitt in P5, then John Perkins, Steve Brewster, Jeremy Pullman, Shannon McHugh, John Torgerson, Paul Davison, Robert Keller, who was one of our early favorites, ended up in 12th. Then Alan Evans, Shane Denny, and Brian Evans. That rounds out your 944 Spec field. So another great race in the books. We thought we were going to get a little bit of weather. But again, the racing gods smiled upon us and kept the surface pristine. So now we're going to have some time trial action coming at you on the cameras. Might have a little bit of an interview down in the podium ceremony, and also looking for folks down in impound. Of course, these cars all have to clear rigorous technical inspections before they can truly be declared champions. And then they will have one in the books, one for the trophy cases and one for stories to tell around the campfire in the paddock. So folks, that's another one in the books here at the 2017 NASA Eastern States Championships presented by Toyo Tires. We'll take a little break. We got one more championship race for you. And also we need to finish out our time trial group. They've been racing here all weekend and giving us plenty to talk about. So thanks for hanging with us this afternoon. We'll be back at you in a few minutes.
Hey folks, we're here with Dan Pena, winner of your Spec 944 NASA Championship race here at the 2017 Eastern States Championships presented by Toyo Tires. Dan, that looked like a hell of a performance, man. Tell us about it.
Oh man, God, it was a lot of teamwork, both for myself and the other guys. Luckily, Keller and I worked together to kind of break away from Stanley and Kyle, and I needed that gap, but I think it cost Keller in the end, because his car, I think it got hot from staying behind me so long. But without that gap, I couldn't have stayed out front. And then I saw Stanley, this guy, I mean, really, he's the driver of the race. He came all the way from the back, got up to second place. He's hunting me down. If it was, 5 more minutes, he probably would have got me. But I was just hanging on to as best as I could. Had some kind of fuel starvation problem pop up around turn 1, so I was sputtering and farting and coughing, but just had to hang on to it as long as I could, and luckily time ran out before Jason could get to me.
I guess the racing gods are on your side today.
I absolutely, and I couldn't be happier with this ugly little car. This car is affectionately named Ugly Betty. You can see why. It's every different color in the world, but it just shows. I mean, you don't have to have the prettiest car to come out racing with us. They're inexpensive, great race cars. Look how many cars everybody finished the race. But yeah, big thanks to Toyo Tires and Hawk and NASA for putting on this great event. I mean, this is like a lifetime experience that everybody should check out if they can. It's awesome.
Well, as I understand it, you're actually the class leader, the national class leader for 944 Spec.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny because last time at VIR, when I got lucky and won that event, I think the previous director struck while the iron was hot and asked me to step up and take over, and I did. And well, I guess it's not slowing me down too much, but I'm just having a blast and getting to share my experiences with everybody else and pulling more people to class. And I mean, you can come out here and see why. I mean, look how many people are here having a great time. It's just a great class.
Well, hey man, you're obviously doing a great job. You had a great field of 944 Spec cars here, and you got yourself a NASA championship.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I'm so excited to pick up that Toyo check and get on that podium. Spray some champagne.
Well, great job. Congratulations again.
Thanks very much.
Hey folks, we're down here with your winner of Spec E30 for your 2017 NASA Championships here at Sebring International Raceway, presented by Toyo Tires. Carlos Mendez, our Spec E30 winner. Carlos, you had a heck of a battle out there with Goldberg, Edmonds. They were challenging you, it looked like, the whole time.
Yeah, it was a really tough battle. The beginning was very difficult. difficult. There were guys all over the place coming up on me, and I started in second. And going into turn 2 and 3, there was some contact. 2 cars came in front of me, and you know, it was crazy. The first lap was nuts. I was able to stay in second. I ran behind Eskew for a bit. He had some parts hanging off his car, and I just tried to run a clean lap and hit all my marks. The guys behind me were putting on so much pressure. It was so hard to just. It was just tough, man. They were putting pressure on me the whole time. I was running, you know, my race line, and at times running a defensive line, trying to keep them guessing. And bit by bit, you know, we swapped some positions with Brian Edmonds and some of the other guys. But that last lap was nuts. I was in the lead for like maybe the last 2 or 3 laps, and coming into 17, I ran a real defensive line right on the inside wall. But I left enough room for him, and in case he wanted to try it. And of course, it's the last turn, last lap, he put his car in there, and I said to myself, man, I can't let him pass me on the last turn. And I kind of waited a little bit, you know, used brake a little bit early, turned in underneath him, and we went through 17 side by side. And I had just enough power to kind of squeak by, and I got the win. But it was amazing. I haven't seen him yet. I want to go congratulate him too for the great race.
It looked like it was an all hands on deck, no hold, all, you know, old-fashioned battle royale.
It was nuts. It was crazy. My car's all dented up. There were parts flying everywhere. It was a battle. It could have been any one of those guys. They were putting on so much pressure. It was a good race.
You guys put on a heck of a battle today. It looked like nobody was giving any quarter. It was every corner you guys were trying to swap positions. Nobody was working with the other to try and build a gap. And man, what a tremendous class to Spec.
Yeah, it is. That's why I love this class. Here in South Florida, we have a great group of guys, and we come out on the weekends and we race and we hang out and have some drinks and then race some more. And it's a good group of friends, a lot of clean racing, and it's awesome. I love it. Spec classes are
This is your
best.
first NASA championship, is it not?
In 2014, I went to Road Atlanta, and I think I finished 17th or 18th around there. So it's my second one. But
your first win?
First win.
First
It's
win.
amazing. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
What does that mean to you?
You know, I came in here thinking a top 10 finish would be nice. So it's amazing. First place, I can't believe it. I don't know what to say.
Well, you've got some cash to put in your pocket now, courtesy of Toyo tires.
That's cool.
I'm sure you've got some plans for that money.
I could use that.
Maybe
yeah.
the wife, significant other.
The wife definitely needs a nice vacation. Yeah.
Cool. Is there anybody at home you'd like to thank, or any sponsors? Or?
I want to thank God for allowing me to follow my dreams and do what I love to do. I want to thank my wife, Christina Mendez, for always putting up with this crazy racing habit that I have. I want to thank all my buddies, all my friends, all the guys that I race with, that I share a shop with, that, you know, we hang out and they're always around to help wrench and fix the car. And my biggest sponsor is Condor Speed Shop. They make awesome parts, bushings, motor mounts, brake lines, all kinds of stuff for these older BMWs, E30s, E36s, E46s, you know, all the Beamers. So check them out, CondorSpeedShop.com.
Well, man, congratulations on your first NASA championship.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic job this weekend, and we'll look for you at the 2018 championships at Toyo.
All right, I can't wait.
All right,
I'll be
guys.
ready.
Hey, folks, we're here with Danny Goldberg, your second place finisher in Spec E30 here at the 2017 NASA Eastern States Championships, presented by Toyo Tires. Danny, it looked like you had a heck of a battle out there with these other competitors, and it didn't look like anybody was giving any quarter to anyone.
No, definitely not. It was a very hard-fought battle. I started in 12th and just started clicking away, making my way up the pack. And the front group, maybe 5-6 cars, were really having it out. I was a little chunk away, just watching, running my lines, and slowly picking up on them to be there at the end.
So did their battling really give you that opportunity to kind of catch the pack and get up there and really challenge for the overall win?
I mean, they were moving quick. The lap times are fast, but definitely the battling up there, I was able to just drive my line, keep picking up a little bit to be there at the end.
So what attracted you to Spec E30?
The spec racing. I did some IMSA prototype lights racing about 4 years ago, and I got hooked on having equally matched cars and the battling that goes on. I ran in ST1 for years, many years ago before that, and I really like the spec racing. Equally matched cars, not a lot to do to them, so everybody ends up with a pretty good setup. So it's really just about driving and racing.
Yeah, it looks like the Spec E30 community has something pretty special within it.
They do. This is my first big event with them. I did a Florida event because I'm local here. I did a Florida event with the Florida guys, about 12 of us down here a few weeks ago. Great little group there. And then this weekend we got the Southeast guys, a couple Northeast guys, little camps for each group, and we're all hanging out, going out in the evenings. And Scott McKay put together dinners for everybody every night. Really, really great group.
Wow.
Last night we were sitting around watching videos and trash talking each other, having a great time.
And that's really what it's all about, that event, right?
So, of course, that's the racing and the trash talk.
Yeah, for sure. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is your first NASA championship.
Yes. No. I raced the championship, I think it was 09.
09,
ST1.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
My brother's here in ST1. He came in third, I believe, this weekend.
So racing's in your family?
Yeah, well, my brother and I started racing in 2001 in South Florida, Sebring, Moroso, which is now PBIR, and we got hooked. We've been doing it ever since, basically.
That's awesome. Well, is there anybody at home that you'd like to thank?
I thank my wife for supporting me. She's been there all the way, getting me into the prototype racing, getting me into spec racing. It's my family, my mom's here, my brother, everybody. Thank you all for helping me do this.
Well, it sounds like you've got somebody at home to spend that Toyo cash with you after this weekend. So
yeah, man, I'm excited. That's probably the biggest prize money I've ever won.
Fantastic.
Going back all the years.
Fantastic. Well, hey, congratulations on your second place finish and putting on an amazing just display of driving here this weekend for everybody watching. So great work. And you know what? Stay tuned with us because we've got our next race coming up shortly.